we're just about halfway finished with our extremes. So let's continue. So this brings us to frame 7. Here, we'll start with the right pelvic limb, and we'll have that push back further. And then we'll want to drop the left pelvic limb. So let's go ahead and first 0 it with the transform to 0. Then we'll move it forward. And now we can scrub back and forth from 6 to 7. Make sure we like the timing. Okay, great. Now keep in mind, we also want to keep track of the spacing between the legs. We'll use the reference for that. Again, just to make sure that we're posing these accurately. We know that the pelvis will need to start straightening out as the horse is starting to stretch. So let's go ahead and rotate it down. Okay, great. And I'll also translate it down slightly here as well. Beautiful. Now for the center of gravity, here we're also going to want to translate it down just slightly. So we're reaching that low point, the lowest point of the gallop. And then once the front legs touch, that's when we'll start to have the horse translate upward. We wouldn't want to push the horse down after those front legs plant. Otherwise, there'd be irregular bends in the forward legs. So we want to make sure they're extended out. Okay, so the back legs look really nice. Let's go ahead and work on the thoracic legs. So we'll want to grab the forward leg on the right side, and let's go ahead and translate that forward some more, and then we'll go ahead and rotate the fetlock forward. Okay, great. And then I'll grab the scapula control and also have that slide forward. All right, beautiful. I might just translate it back in the y-axis a little bit more so it doesn't press too far forward. And now the left leg, we'll want that to extend out. And then we'll want the fetlock to rotate forward just a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, great. So the front left leg is just about ready to plant. We're now ready to work on the next frame. Let's go ahead and move to frame 8. What I'll do here is grab the left scapula control and have that shift forward a little bit. And then I'll have the left leg actually start to move down but extend out. So again, we want the leg to appear fully extended, but we want a slight bend so we don't have any weird popping issues to deal with. I'll also go to frame 7 and translate the left scapula forward just slightly there, just to fix the flow as the leg moves forward. Okay, great. Let's see if there's anything else we can do before we call the left leg good. I'd say we can bring it down just a little bit more because it is about to plant. Okay, great. So that looks good. Now for the right leg, let's go ahead and move to the next side. Here, we'll go ahead and translate the leg forward and then rotate the fetlock down. So it almost creates a 7 shape type of line of action in this limb. Okay, great. I'll also have the right scapula press forward. Beautiful. So we're getting some very nice fluidity. I would almost like to add a slight bend in the fetlock, just so that it isn't too straight. Okay, great. So that adding just a little bit more curvature there adds more of a natural look and feel to this limb. Let's go ahead and work on the back legs. So they're still planted, however, their back, the furthest they would be before lifting up off of the surface. Or at least that is what we need to do for the right pelvic limb. The left pelvic limb is still going to be planted, but it is just about ready to also leave the surface. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and make sure we like the spacing here. All right, beautiful. Taking a look at the pelvis, let's go ahead and rotate that down. Okay, great. And I'll also translate it down just slightly. So the spine will almost get to a point where it creates a straight line if we were to take a look at the horse's back. So that's what we're basically preparing for. For the center of gravity, let's go ahead and have that translate down just slightly here. Just before that left leg in the front makes contact. So once that happens, that's when the upper body will start to move upward. Okay, so this is looking really nice. Okay, great. So at this point, we can move to the next pose. So here, this is where we're going to want to grab the center of gravity on frame 9. Let's go ahead and translate it up. Just slightly, not much at all. So now we'll go ahead and grab the left thoracic leg. And let's go ahead and zero out its transforms. And now we can translate it forward. So here's where it finally makes contact. All right, great. I'd almost like to have this translate back a little bit more and then grab the center of gravity and translate the horse up just to extend the leg and also to make sure the timing is just right as it finally hits the floor. Beautiful. Now for the right leg, that's pressing forward. So let's go ahead and have that translate forward some more. And we want more curvature in the line of action of the right front leg on frame 9. Let's make sure we get that pose, make sure we rotate the fetlock correctly to get that type of curvature. Okay, beautiful. I'll also grab the scapula here and kind of slide that forward a little bit. Great. Now, at this point, the right pelvic leg, this is kicking up off of the surface, pushing the horse forward. So let's go ahead and bring that up and then rotate the fetlock back to reflect the push off. Okay, so we really want all of our gestures to have a sense of energy. So we can really feel this horse and its gallop. Okay, great. And I might want to push that back just a little bit more, just to correct the timing, and so the pose doesn't seem so stiff. All right, at that point, we can go ahead and grab the pelvis control and rotate that down in frame 9. We can grab the left pelvic leg and translate that back. Okay, great. So this is looking really nice. let's go ahead and scrub through before we call this good and move on to the next lesson where we will work on the last half of our blocking pass. Okay, great. So again, with this said and done, that finishes this lesson. So again, in the next lesson, we're ready to work on the final phase of our blocking pass. And the great thing is, once the blocking pass is finished, cleaning everything up will hardly take any time. So most of our work is done in the blocking pass, which is the great part about the cycle. So let's say we go ahead and continue moving to the end of this phase so we can start to add polish in the next.